Golden Rule Radio is brought to you by McIlvaney ICA. ICA has been America's foremost precious metals brokerage firm since 1972, helping you build a strategic precious metals portfolio. Call 800-525-9556 to buy gold, silver, platinum, or palladium today, or go to McIlvaney.com.
Welcome back to Golden Rule Radio, your weekly recap of the precious metals markets and the news that moves the markets. And as we're spending the last couple years writing new verses to We Didn't Start the Fire, it seems to be time again. I thought once again we'd bring Rob and some sage wisdom and history and experience into the show of us blind squirrels trying to find nuts. So thanks, Rob, for casting a little bit of light on things as you tend to do, and appreciate you joining me today.
Thanks for having me back, Miles.
So we do want to start out looking at the metals charts. Do I dare use the B word, Rob?
It sure looks like it.
Sure looks like that four-letter word we all want to hear, that our mothers and fathers would be happy to hear us say. Bull market, maybe resuming here shortly. But there is another B word we absolutely have to talk about, and that's breakout, because, boy, we've had breakouts on just about every market you can possibly consider except silver. Breakouts in the equities markets, in the wrong direction, but we've had them. And, of course, breakouts in the euro, which we talked about over the last couple weeks. And, of course, breakouts in a couple of the precious metals markets. So what are you seeing in gold these days, and what are your clients asking about?
Well, there's a lot of money moving around right now. People are becoming very concerned, and they should be. You know, they have been programmed to watch the equity markets, and we're going to get there, because you have the Dow and the S&P down 10, 12%. NASDAQ and transports are down around 20%. They're watching that. They're nervous. They see what's coming. They've been watching inflation. I'm having people telling me what the real inflation rate is. Shadow Stats has made a lot of sense at the 15% range, where real inflation is, at least under the formula that was used during the Carter administration. Puts us at 15%. So most of my clients are not trying to make a lot of money in gold and silver. They're just trying to protect their principal. And that's what I'm seeing.
So with the expectation of raising interest rates, which you and I talked about a couple weeks ago in here, and the decrease in the equities market and increased inflation, all of these things coming to a head at the exact same time, why isn't the dollar going down?
Well, there's a lot of foreign money. They just loaded up on the 5-year Treasury auction here recently. Even the 10-year auction, 10-year Treasuries are back down below 2% yield. I think there's a lot of money moving out of the equity markets into short-term Treasuries, a lot of foreign money. I think people around the rest of the world are worried about the direction geopolitically, what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening elsewhere. There's a lot of money on the move, and it's not just here in the U.S. A lot of money is actually coming into the U.S. because they see us as a safe haven.
Yeah, I think the yield decline you bring up is key there, because with 10 to 20% in the respective equity market indices, 10 to 20% declines over the last couple months, that money, at least short-term, has to go somewhere. And cash and short-term Treasury bills obviously tend to be the most immediate place for that money to land while it looks for higher ground, so to speak. And I think we're starting to see that higher ground in the precious metals market. I mean, you look at what happened in the gold price, gold going from $1,780. Now we've come up and touched the November highs at around $1,918 and looking to potentially even push beyond that. Although the question is, when does that happen? And I think you and I are in agreement on that. So we'll look at that gold chart a little bit more in depth here. But you look at how gold has now come up. Silver is showing the strength that we've been waiting for it to play catch up to gold, and platinum looks outstanding right now with big breakout moves.
I was going to say platinum is on a breakout. Silver is getting really, really close. Gold is definitely on a breakout. How much higher do you see gold moving before we do see a little bit of profit taking?
I think you got to bring a couple of the indicators in here. I mean, we're significantly above the 200-day moving average at this point, and we're diverging away from that very rapidly since we broke through back in the middle of February, so just a couple weeks ago. So you would expect to see us come back and retest something even close to that. We're also showing RSI divergence. Again, as strong as the gold price has been, we are seeing higher highs. There's a good chance we might see a higher high even today or tomorrow, but market's starting to tire out a little bit, and we've got those November highs that we haven't tested yet until here the last couple of days. So I'd like to see us, even if it happens in a single day. I mentioned earlier, even if we jump up $20 and end up closing the day down 20, something like a $40 swing up and down.
Sure.
And then a reversal back down for a short period of time, I think would be incredibly healthy for the precious metals market. So 1850, I think would be a good bottom, just looking at where we've got some previous highs and new established lows in the gold price. I think 1850 looks pretty good at a short-term reversal. But then the next move up should be interesting. I mean, we're talking 1950, maybe 2000 to get to some of the old highs from a year and a half, 2 years ago and start testing those. And this could all happen real quick. I mean, we're talking over the next few months, we could see this type of movement up and down. And next thing you know, we're $150 or $200 higher.
Yeah, and it's very hard to time the market. I would recommend, if people are trying to time, I would target about 1890 as a pretty good number to, if you are market timing, that would be a good entrance point. It really depends. I mean, most of our clients are not crypto buyers.
Or Forex traders.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to try to play the cryptos, you've got to have the stomach, you've got to have the smarts and the discipline, because that's not a buy and hold market. That's a trading market.
Right.
I have clients that trade that. They do very well, and they're destroying their health in the process because it's a 24-hour market, hugely volatile. My clients who are buying gold and silver, they're looking for a good entry point. But at this point, does it really matter? A few percentage points either way. I think that we are on the verge of some even increased volatility from what we've already seen these last few weeks. I think 5 years from now, people aren't going to remember if they paid $18.50 or $19.50 an ounce. It won't matter.
Well, personally, I've been buying gold almost 20 years now, and you've got me beat by double. And I guarantee I cannot tell you a single price I've ever paid for 1 ounce of it.
That's
because
absolutely
it just doesn't
true.
matter.
It does not matter. You always remember the first time when I bought 39 years ago.
Because it always goes down the next day.
Isn't that the truth? But I know what I paid for it that first time.
32? 35?
I paid 100.
Oh, 100. You got in way late.
Yeah. I mean, my father was looking at me going, Robert, gold was $35 an ounce just a couple of years ago. Are you sure you're doing the right thing?
Right.
Well, and I was. But you are right. I mean, I bought it and then watched it do nothing for an extended period of time. And that is demoralizing, because I would have kept buying had the price had been doing anything. And I should have been. And that's the problem. Because if you get fixated on price action, it's going to be difficult. But if you're buying it because you're trying to preserve principle, that's a whole different world. And my clients, mostly, they just want their money back in value in 5 or 10 years. And if you can approach it from that perspective, it doesn't matter.
So are you saying you should buy things based on your goals and not just how you feel about it in the moment? What a novel concept. So I'll tell you my favorite version of market timing in gold. It's what I do in our quick plug here. Our vaulted program is, I have my vaulted account. It just pulls X amount of dollars out of every paycheck I get every 2 weeks, and I don't even think about it.
I do the same thing.
So that's one of the reasons why we built that vaulted program, and has been an exceptional tool for that, for not just our clients, but us as clients as well as employees.
Absolutely. I love it.
So yeah, definitely keep an eye on the gold price. I think that's a great place to start, because gold is leading the charge. But what about the thing everybody's asking about, silver?
If we can get to 25, I think that would be outstanding. Then we're on a nice trajectory. What do you think?
Yeah, 25 does something that gold has done and platinum has done, and that's break out of that declining ceiling trend line. So we are still sitting just above it, but something I think key happened today is we did get another break above the 200-day moving average. That just happened today on Wednesday. So the likelihood we're going to see that continue to climb is pretty strong. we're starting to scrape the top end of the overbought side of RSI.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very likely we're going to see that peter out over the next few weeks, but somewhere between $25 and $26 is a great place for that to peter out. And then maybe trade sideways or slightly back down to, again, use that old ceiling to become the new floor, put its foot firmly there, and then start climbing up from there and playing catch up with gold. And it did a little bit. The ratio has gone from 80 back down to the 77. So silver has outperformed gold this week.
Mm-hmm.
And since we're on the topic of white metals, platinum, I think, is the chart of the week. I feel like I've said that in years past with platinum being the chart of the week, but platinum had its breakout week. It came up. It has retested the old November highs. We've broken above the trend line, and we've even had a very short-term retracement back down to that trend line. Platinum is looking very strong, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, because I allocated so many of my accounts into 10 to 20% platinum over the last few years. And then we just sat there and watched the grass grow. It just languished. Platinum's got a long way to go.
Well, and I know we did the same thing in palladium 10, 12 years ago,
Yeah.
which sounded crazy at the time until palladium hit 3,000. And a lot of our clients were going, wait, I can turn those 10 ounces of palladium into how many ounces of platinum? So playing that ratio game definitely pays off if you're patient.
And the problem is that you want to play it incrementally. Instead of all in, all out, student body left, student body right. You want to trade these metals back and forth, platinum to gold, silver to gold, platinum to palladium, etc. You want to do it incrementally, and that's the discipline that we've forged over the years.
Right. And one of the benefits of working with someone who's been tracking this stuff for 50 years like yourself.
Well, but I learn things all the time. I was a lot smarter when I started 35 years ago than I am today. The great thing that we do have going for us is a collaborative effort in our trade room. What's going on? What do you see? What is the best move for our clients right now? And we do that constantly.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate you coming on the show from time to time, because allows some of our listeners and some of my clients who listen just a chance to hear some other voices. So thank you.
Anytime.
So that's going to do it this week for Golden Rule Radio. As always, we appreciate you stopping by. If you liked what you heard, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. You can find more info on our website at McIlvaney.com. We can be found on Twitter at ICA Gold or Facebook at McIlvaney Financial. And as always, if you'd like to discuss your personal investments in precious metals, ratio trading strategies, and building a portfolio, give Rob, myself, or any of the advisors here at McIlvaney ICA a call at 1-800-525-9556. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.